Here's your Orange County real estate market update. It's good. Well, it's bad. It's crashing and exploding. What?
Want a deal when you buy or sell your home? Anthony will work his fingers to the bone. He'll work his fingers to the bone just to get you in a home. Anthony will work his fingers to the bone.
Okay, so we get these real estate reports, right? All the time. The news are saying things like the market is skyrocketing, the market is crashing, the home sales are in a decline, these sort of things. And as a homeowner, you probably need to realize, or as a potential buyer, you need to realize that these reports a lot of times are just for the headlines. They need to get eyeballs on their content. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I had a gentleman yesterday actually say to me, he said, Anthony, well, you know, gosh, I heard the story about the real estate market. You must be worried. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, it says, home sales are on the decline. And the way that the report was given was to make it sound like it's an ominous thing that, uh-oh, watch out, the market's about to crash or something like that. But in reality, when I asked him, I said, well, what kind of homes? He said, well, they didn't say. I said, okay, so was it just Orange County? Was it a specific city or a zip code? He said, no, they didn't really say. They just said Southern California real estate homes are on the decline. And as a homeowner, you might look at that and say, oh no, now I have to make a poor decision in selling in a hurry because home sales are on the decline and we want to sell and we want to maximize our profits. But in all reality, what that report was all about is that the number of homes that are available, i.e. the inventory, has shrunken dramatically. Well, if you take a look at marketing reports of the number of listings and new listings on the market and whatnot, you're going to see that traditionally during this time of the year, the end of the year, people do not put their house on the market as much as they do during the middle of the year. It's holiday season, right? So they're bogged down with things that they're doing for the holidays and stuff like that. And it's just an inconvenience for a lot of people. So they don't do that. So if you look at that and you say, well, home sales are on the decline. They're only on the decline because there's just fewer people selling houses. That's all. It's not because there's something wrong with the housing market. So if you take these reports into consideration, you can find out that that it's kind of misinformation, right? Not because it is inaccurate, because home sales are on the decline as far as the number of home sales, but does that mean home sale prices are going down? Not necessarily. One of the other things that is a huge, I don't want to call it a myth or or skewed information, is when people give the Orange County real estate market update. Well, that's fine, but you know what? Home sales in Irvine are completely different than home sales in Santa Ana. Would you agree? I think most people would agree with that. And so how can you take an entire area like Orange County and use that to compile a market update? Yeah, you can run statistics and numbers and stats and everything and show median sales prices and show days on market and all this stuff. But I tell you this, if you go into Irvine, I bet you the days on market are much lower than days on market for, like I said, certain parts of Santa Ana or Anaheim or you know, just other cities, Buena Park, whatever. Okay. Same thing with prices. Prices are higher in Irvine than they are in Buena Park, but it would take longer to sell a house in Buena Park than it would take to sell in Irvine because of the demand, right? So what you need to know about a market update, if you're serious about selling or you're serious about buying, what you really need to know is that for a market update to be accurate, it has to be put into a really super hyper local perspective, okay? And what I mean by that is not zip code, not city, you know, definitely not county, but even just down to the neighborhood. Because I've had homes that I've had listed where at one point in time, this particular neighborhood was the hot neighborhood. Had these sellers who decided to sell their house, and when they bought it 30 years earlier, they thought, boy, this is the house we're going to die in, and so they were good with it. But then when it came time that they did have to sell, they thought, well, boy, all these famous people used to live in this neighborhood, And the key word there is used to, but for whatever reason, they were still under the impression that it held some value that way. And what has happened is the houses in that area, although they were custom built, were 30 years older. And then there were homes in the immediate surrounding area that were only 20 years old. And so they tried to separate their house from the other sales in the area, and it kind of doesn't work like that. So if you want to get a really good, clear picture on a market update, then what you need to do is you need to call somebody like myself, or if you know another really good, reputable real estate agent, to come in and really take a good look. Don't fall for the comparative market analysis just generated right out of the bat. Every agent has access to these tools where they can literally put in an address and hit a button and it'll say, well, this house is worth probably this much. But here, I'm going to do this. After the video here, I'll throw this on here, that I'm going to pull up the values from several of the different sources that are out there for my house, so that you can kind of get an idea of how different those values are. And if it was that simple as just popping in an address and, well, that's what the house is worth, then every single one of them should be correct, and I guarantee you that they're not. So call somebody who actually knows what they're doing, who understands how to identify and mine the data out of the hyper-local community as far as how it's going to affect the value of your house and your ultimate sale. Likewise, if you're a buyer and you're looking to buy in an area before you buy that house, you know, make sure that you have somebody who can really look at that house and scrutinize it and say, okay, here's what the value is, here's what the future trends look like they're going to be, and make your decision based off of that, as opposed to off of some newspaper article or blog post that says, home sales are on the decline. Have a great day.
Want a deal when you buy or sell your home? Anthony will work his fingers to the bone. He'll work his fingers to the bone just to get you in a home. Anthony will work his fingers to the bone.